See if I got this thing set up right. See if you can hear me. Let it warm up and see what's going on out there in the real world. Welcome to 2024. Is it everything you hoped would be? That will just be basically the topic of discussion. I figured I'd do it live and let everybody complain at me live instead of comments on a video. So be a little different, but hope everybody has made it this far and is doing good. But give it a minute to warm up, and I think we're just a little early from what I had scheduled. So give it a few minutes to do the thing. Well, goodness gracious, everybody's up. Everybody's ready to go. Dad on YouTube, what is up, Boneyard Militia? What's up, Boneyard? Corsair, Steve's in the house. Alicia, how you doing? Good on the audio. All right, that's all that matters, right? So Dad's here, so he knows how I feel. I was my big goal for 2023 was to get my 2024 predictions out before he did, and of course he put his video out yesterday, so I had to ride his coattails as usual, and get this out later than him. So that kind of pushed my envelope a little bit. I was sitting there thinking all through between Christmas and New Year about I need to do a prediction video of some sort, and had ideas in my head and everything. What's going on here? Why is it hiding? Okay, who's my moderator? Goodness gracious, this thing's acting up already. I can't tell who's moderating, but it says somebody's moderating. So, all right, that's weird. I don't know why it would hold that. But what is going on? Again, we got okay. I guess we're on time. We'll try to keep it going. So, the big topic for 2024 apparently, the edict has been put out throughout the land that Black Swan will be the topic of discussion through 2024. That was very interesting. The way that kind of pervaded all out very quickly. The lady from CNN went on TV worried about a Black Swan event in 2024, and all of a sudden it just blew up everywhere. Every YouTube channel, it was all over the place. I'm not, I'm hyperbole a little bit, but it was everywhere, right? Like you couldn't shake a stick without seeing a video about black swans on the mainstream, not just in our little conspiratorial neck of the woods over here, right? So that's what I was kind of focusing on when I was contemplating a video. And I think the biggest thing to understand is it's not a true black swan event. It's one of those they're putting that out there to keep the people in that state of hyper reactiveness, hyper fearfulness to some extent for some people. I think that's definitely what's going on. To keep people focused on something that's not going to happen, that's not there. And when I really think about it, there's only about two or three real serious black swan events as far as globally. And for what that she was talking about, what was it? Herridge, Catherine Herridge was the one that they really focused on talking about getting ready for 2024, right? And I got to thinking, like, there's only a few black swan events. A coronal mass ejection is a true event that they can't control and have no ability to deal with. A full scale nuclear war exchange is something that is catastrophic, right? A volcano, a Yellowstone event, something like that. Those are events that are true black swans. Everything else they have planned for, mitigated, have the ability to control. They control a nuclear war too. Everything else is foreseeable to them and been planned for, and they've put steps in place to mitigate, in my mind. But the only exception that they plan for, they try to mitigate. But if it actually happened, really things could really go sideways. Is if there was a, call it a cyber event or actually a physical event that removed the computer servers and the ability for central banks to exchange information, to push their digits and thus their currency throughout the world. And if that lasted for anything more than like 72, 48, 72, 96 hours, say 4 days, if that went on beyond that, that would be a catastrophic uh, black swan type of event. That's about it. Everything else that people call black swans aren't really, in my mind, a black swan event. They're more, something that they're going to take advantage of, something that they're going to already have in place a plan for, already have a mode of action for. People look at 2020 as some sort of unusual event. Like everybody had plans for something like that. Everybody had ideas of what they would do. It's just the people in government positions had better or different plans for what they were going to do when that happened. And they put them out and nobody pushed back with like, well, that's not the plan. And people went ahead and did it anyway. Um, so that's my biggest thing about that discussion of black swans is one, apparently they're pretty. They're actually really exist in the real world. But it's the predictive programming stuff to keep people in a state of fear, or that hyper sensitive reality, hyped up sense of what's going on in all phases of society, not just in our little crew, right? Because why would they float that out there on mainstream TV unless they want people to be fearful of it? And what does everybody do when the government says, when these media agents say something like that? They look to the government like, please save us. We're over here being fearful for something that, uh, in a lot of ways, helps us because it relieves us of government control. But we're going to seek the government agents to come and save us from this perceived threat that is going to be catastrophic. That is really not. Um, that was my biggest thing. So what's really going to happen? So it's not, a black swan's not going to really be a black swan. We're still going to have to deal with the same amount of encroaching. And Dad said it on his video: the slow burn of a collapse or a transition is really where we're at now. We're in a transitional phase. We're in that transitional phase of uh, to absolute government uh, control, central government, one world government. That's where we're going. That's what is coming. What's up, John from the Prepared Mind is in the house. Happy New Year. Hope you're doing well, sir. Fears for the weak minded, says Boneyard. Right. You got to get, as soon as you have a fearful thought, you know, for something that's not actually affecting you, that's, I think, what you're getting at, Boneyard. Like, don't be fearful of things that aren't actually threatening you. Fear is to give you that fight or flight instinct. If you're being fearful over something that isn't doesn't need a reaction immediately, you need to go into a reflective planning response, type of thing. Uh, Definitely, you got to build up your mental capacities to deal with that more effectively. It's probably an accurate statement. Weak minds are fearful all the time, which is what they've been building that. They've been building that for a while, right? Um, I think we talked about this a couple chats ago. Like, um, all the big channels that keep people in that hyper state of semi fearfulness or concern, like preying off people. Um, they're not doing much good with that type of thought process, or their form of entertainment, I guess. Alicia says, would a Carrington event even be bad? Um, I mean, it would be bad in the sense that, yeah, a lot of people would not make it out. Is that what you mean by bad? Or bad because the powers that be would lose control? Um, a CME, the thing is, it's likely to only affect, roughly half the world at a time. It's not likely to be worldwide. Um, so somebody would be there to help pull people out of it, and the survivors to rebuild whatever's on the other side of the world, right? And depending on which way we're tilted, makes a difference. Like we're tilted away from the sun right now, um, so I think just the way kind of it works, if it hits in the winter for us, it affects more the southern hemisphere as well, and only those facing the sunny side. So, um, however that works out, it's not worldwide catastrophic right away, but it is. Uh, what would you say? Like the area impacted would be definitely desolate for a while, like as far as rebuilding and um, I mean, I guess there's a lot of what ifs in that as far as what level is impacted and what things or what systems are built to actually be um, recoverable or built to be withstand that. Um, a lot of servers, places like that, are already built to withstand that. So it's really your transmission lines, your electric grid. What you can rebuild on top of that is the question, I guess. So how quickly, can that be done? I don't know. Uh, Again, though, how's that going to come out in the end? Like, hey, only one world government can save us from this as they rebuild everything, right? Let's see where we're at if I missed anything. Um, Turn pro, says Boneyard. Get, take off your amateur status. Um, so yeah, his dad was saying, it's a slow encroaching, just overbearing regulatory authoritarianism that's just pervading everywhere, right? Um, and it's so slow and it's so slow moving that as to be almost imperceivable to most people as they continue to go day to day to get their things to do their things of surviving and eating and enjoying their entertainment, and then the things that the authoritarianism is encroaching upon them, they disregard it. They don't even notice it. You know. So yeah, if you haven't seen Dad's video, Dad on the famous Dad on YouTube, go check that out. I didn't put any links below. I'll have to do that. I'll have to put some. Once this is over, I'll put some links below to Dad's video, um, of course, and I don't know. We'll see what else. Um, so, what kind of just squirrely chaos can we expect in the new year? Right? Do we really need to make a prediction, or um, what good does it do? The best laid predictions. I liked when Dad used to do his like top five things that he would predict. The state of the economy, the stock market up or down, and that stuff. But I think it goes without saying that those things are so much in their hands that they put it to where they want it. The national debt's at over 34 trillion now. So we can guarantee that that's going to go up. That's something that you can guarantee. The national debt to the moon. It's like the number doesn't matter anymore. And you got to really wonder why the number is even used when nobody pays attention to it, right? So that's something to, you look at the economic side because that's really what's driving a lot of things. Because that's what the method of control is. The method of control is your finances, is your method of income, and that's where CBCD, central bank digital currencies, come in, and how they further control you or us or me and you, or maybe just me. But how you get your currency and what you're using for currency directly affects just about everything in your standard of living, what you do, who you interact with, who you can interact with. Um, and so the CBDC being the next level of control in that, uh, as this trillions and trillions of dollars in debt continue, um, maybe the 34 trillion is just to point at it at the end and be like, see, look how bad this was. The debt's so bad. If we do CBDC, it'll never be that bad again. And I think to a certain extent, that's kind of going to be one of their arguments for CBDC. There was an article out a little short bit ago, a couple weeks ago, I think, that I shared talking about that, how that was going to be another. Oh, when somebody got robbed of something, somebody was being robbed, like, and they'll be their argument's going to be like CBDCs prevent this. I don't remember if it was, dang, I can't remember what the dollar amount was or what it was about. Yeah, but all, their argument for CBDC is going to be it prevents all, you know, grift and theft, and it's all hunky dory and nobody gets cheated except for you and me and anybody that's not a banker. Is essentially the way that's going to work out in the end. But that's going to be their argument, and their push into the masses is going to be how great it is. Or they just do it without even trying to argue about it and just say, hey, this is the way it's going to be. Because, I mean, what did they do with the dollar? I mean, over a period of 50, 60 years, they transitioned from a, gold actually in coins, and transitioned out to, oh, you can't have your gold because of a national emergency. And here's this currency that some of it is still silver certificates and some of it's still backed. And then, oh, we're taking that away. And, yeah, just the mind state that we're in about what currency and money is just totally. Talk about indoctrination. Leisha did a video yesterday talking about mind control. Our minds are controlled so much in the nature of economics and human interaction and exchange that we don't even comprehend normal transactions, like what real economy is, like how an economy actually works. We're so far past understanding that because we don't have money. We haven't had it for so long, um, that yeah, CBDC is going to be rolled out so much easier in a lot of ways because they've put so many things in place. Just like we rolled with, currency for so long as, this is redeemable in gold, at the central bank, or this is redeemable in silver. Like they roll that out and then they just take that out and it's just Federal Reserve debt notes. And like that's what you're working with. And I was like, well, it's just paper. And now it's just, oh, there's so all this convenience on this digital screen here of how quickly I can do a transaction, um, so that the economic collapse doesn't really happen on the bigger level. The economic stress that we get put under as the little guy is going to be severe, but not a black swan catastrophic economic collapse, which I think a lot of us thought of as a reality. But I'm to the point now where it's like without the CME or nuclear exchange, or the, like I mentioned, the servers of the central bank going down for a period of time, like the economic collapse won't really happen. They've got all the backstops in place in this computerized system that and they have it so effectively under control. I don't think uh, an economic collapse like 1929 or something can really happen on our scale, even though so many more people are exposed. The debt is just a number now. So I don't know. That's just kind of my thoughts on that. Like that's off the table as far as this event that can't be planned for. I think they've planned for it. They've got the CBDC. They can control everything. The bank holiday system. All these things are in place that they can do to prevent it from impacting them. We'll be impacted catastrophically, but they'll see it as a net positive for their purposes. What's up, guns? Coast to coast. You're not worried about an EMP? It would impact the local taco. Oh, you're most worried about an EMP would impact the local taco trucks. That's a legitimate concern because without the taco trucks, everything shuts down. I mean, every construction site, every place of building going on would lose their taco trucks. Work would shut down. What's going on, Guns? I haven't seen you in a minute. Maybe I've dismissed your videos. Maybe you're on your one of hiatuses and you're getting ready to jump about 6 or 7 here in the coming days, probably. But so we can be guaranteed more encroaching authoritarianism and how they ride the economic wave to continue to implement that, and how CBDC gets rolled out, I think is what I'm looking at 2024, as far as what's coming, right? As far as a prediction, I don't think the Black Swan event, as everybody's been talking about, is really on the table. It's just my thoughts. I don't foresee it as being a legitimate concern that they're trying to roll out there. Like, oh, this is this big event, because what they won't be able to do is be concerned about a black swan and ask them for solutions, because their solutions are not what we want. The CBDC is their solution. So we'll see how they roll that out um, coming forward. Um, so that just requires to continue to do all the things, right? Continue to try to figure out how to feed yourself, feed, work with your neighbors, all the things that happen with the election process coming up, and people getting divided into those little camps. Continues to not focus on the problem. Um, so like I was doing the video on money and the barter and implementing the economic systems, like that's really the crux of the matter. Human interactions and exchange, real goods for real goods, time and effort for time and effort, versus what some banker says is your value, is really the crux of everything. And without elimination or taking away that system, I don't see things working out for us too well. It's just going to be this slow grind, as Dad on YouTube explains it, the slow march forward. So prepare for more authoritarianism, whatever that looks like, until we get to a critical mass, if that actually ever happens, against it. So that's kind of my prediction. I guess that's my 2024 prediction that I wanted to get out there, get out of the way, so that everybody would know where I stood and what I'm thinking about. And go check out Dad on YouTube. They Live is arrived. Good morning. Hope you brought your coffee, even though you're late. Um, the good thing about YouTube is you're never late. You can always rewind and watch in your own time frame or whenever you get there. Um, yeah, all these black swan predictions are about as accurate as the weatherman, because the weatherman's been way off. They had talked about this being another bad winter year, and we haven't even got any significant storms yet. Supposedly, there's one here tonight, today, and it doesn't even look like we're getting much. I don't know if it's going north of us. I haven't even checked that out, if it's going north or south of us or whatever, but it's pretty bad on the weather front out here. We need some snow. I usually have 2 or 3 ski days in, and I ain't got nothing this year. That's how bad it is. Yeah, they got winter weather watches up all across the state, um, but doesn't look like it's that bad just yet. See, I can find any up to date information on that. -9. Is that right, Boneyard? That's pretty chilly. I don't really concerned about the temperature. We need wet. We need snow and rain is what we need. So the looks like the radar shows it snowing throughout most of the state except for out here in the west. That's interesting. And maybe something coming through later in the morning. It looks like hitting the mountains here shortly, and we'll see what happens. But it's coming out of the north northwest, and that's usually short-lived storms for us. They usually don't hold much when they come out of the northwest like that. Um, just kind of quickly go through. They dump a little bit. The ones that are really good are the ones that come out of the southwest. and really drop the big storms. Minimal snow for you, Boneyard? Yeah. Yeah, it's really bad here, really thin. Cold in Rocket City, says Dad. Move more. I thought you were as south as you could go without speaking Espanol. I guess if you worked on your Espanol there, Dad, it'd be all good. I don't think I could handle moving any further south. I gotta have some winter. I don't see how people do it going through the winter with no. I've lived several years in the sunny South Pacific, and going years without actual winter is, I think, it's depressing. you know, you get rain, hot, humid, windy, hot and windy, snow, and rain, no snow, no cold. Doesn't get below like 60. You know, 55 feels like a cold snap. So I'll take a winter anytime. No snow for Alicia. Yeah, Alicia, I think you're on the same weather pattern we're in. Um, but maybe this week, maybe the next couple days, we'll see what rolls in. So that's the short term outlook, is just looking for snow. So I hope everybody's doing the things that are needed to be done for yourself to minimize the impacts of inflationary currency, because they're just continuing to pump that out, have the masses compete against each other with this, debt notes that they issue in a way that keeps everything focused off them. Uh, the more you think about it, the worse it sounds in how um, manipulated the economy is, and how when we go to exchange goods and services, they're the ones dictating the price. They're the ones dictating what the value of your labor is, and they make it more and more worthless. And they people try to blame each other for that problem instead of the powers that be and the central banks and the those people up there, right? That's 99% of our problems could be solved with sound money, real money, and having that good exchange between people of equal value, instead of this hyped up hyper currency that has. I mean, you look at just think about your just what would it be? My great grandparents, what, and probably most of yours, your great grandparents were actually working for a $20 gold coin. If those stuff, I mean, granted, most people didn't have gold coins. They didn't even make that much. But you think about what a $20 gold coin piece was, and nowadays, what that is like, a ounce of gold was basically equivalent of $20. Come to today, an ounce of gold is over 2,000. That's what's the depreciation rate on the value of the dollar. Gold hasn't changed. It's the value of the dollar that's changed. It's the exchange that's changed. So it's like they've continued to devalue that, and we continue to try to keep up, and they keep testing new lows for how far down they can put the debt, and that 34 trillion is just unfathomable. So who was it? Southern Prepper One was talking about it yesterday. The amount of debt per person that's calculated into that and factored into that, and it's like, he's talking about how it's still where everybody's on the hook for it, and it's like, well, that might be where it really gets down to crunch time, when they actually try to put everybody on the hook for that debt, and what's that going to look like? Just I'm not sure about that. So that's the real deal. What's going on there? So hopefully everybody's not worried about all these foreign wars and everything, and hopefully we can avoid continuing to grind those things out. And but that's a good place for them to dump a lot of debt. somebody was talking about that. The military industrial complex is really eating that up, and that's a good place to hide debt. That's a good way for them to have that dead weight part of the economy that sucks up dollars and uh, is not productive. Anything that's not productive, it helps them hide debt really easily. But yeah, what else? Boneyard, you got somebody just mined 12 ounces near you. That's pretty impressive. That's a pretty good work day, depending on how long it took you to get it out of there, right? Um, I had a conversation with somebody about trying to get, if you get an ounce of gold a week, like that would be a pretty good goal, right? But depending on what kind of um, location you're at and what the ground's like being able to get that out and processed is a hard proposition. Like he was talking about the equipment and to get an ounce and and without hitting a significant vein of some sort, where the gold deposit is at a certain amount. Just your normal gold deposit doesn't have that type of density that you can do on your own. So he was saying you have to up that number to be a little profitable, and the amount of equipment and stuff you got to put into it. Took a month. That's 12 ounces in a month. Sounds like that would be pretty good. Dad's gonna go. You need to go into gold mining, Dad. That sounds like your kind of business. You ever watch that show on is it Discovery Channel? All the they have the gold mining show out at where they're in Alaska with all the big time rigs, and then they got the I can't remember, is it Gold Mine Rescue or what do they call it? Anyway, a guy goes around helping small time prospectors build up their mines, and that's kind of what I was talking to that guy with. And this was years before that show was around. But basically, they go around to small time prospecting outfits and help them get their mine up to profitability or to function well. But being this other guy, we're talking about that years before that came out. But and then you watch that show, and like it's it's a hard prospect, and especially when once fuel prices go up, because just about everything is heavy equipment and the machinery that runs off of generators to keep that going. That's why gold has real value. It takes effort to make it. It's not some guy in Wall Street sitting down there in what is downtown New York, pressing did this on a computer, telling you what your money's worth. Dad watches guys in Australia with a metal detector looking for nuggets. Yeah, fun shows. You don't know how much is staged and how much is, one of those mining shows they were doing. They're mining a river canyon basically, somewhere up in Washington, I believe. Maybe it was southern Alaska. Um, but yeah, they're scuba diving right into the river right there uh, in the middle of the river. It's like, it's there's a whole process into it, and they had a whole reasoning as to why they were doing that. Using dive equipment, and blowing things under the water. I guess it had to be southern Alaska because of the. There's no way they would let that go on in Washington State. I don't believe. Um, but yeah, blowing rock right out of the water, trying to get to the gold underneath and the gravel or whatever, where they figured it was deposited, however long ago and everything. That's entertaining stuff to watch. It's better than watching some stuff, that's for sure. Where so what else is going on out there in the world? What's Anybody else have any thoughts on the 2024 Black Swan events that are impending upon us? as the mainstream stream seems to try to push on us, or what that might be. Yeah, that'd be pretty impressive finding gold just with a metal detector. That would be a interesting country to be in. I've heard stories like that though of in Australia, they still walk around and find it just surface level gold deposits, nuggets and everything. It's like everybody already scoured out here in the West, in America. Everything's been scoured for a couple hundred years now, so that's pretty much tapped out. I guess speaking of mining, we'll see how the lithium mining process is picking up. It seems like there's a lot of talk about that out here with a couple places, how they're trying to get all that stuff online to support the electric car systems, battery systems, trying to get all that stuff above ground to be environmentally friendly as they just dig these massive, massive projects. Um, yeah, they have to move a lot of rock, a lot of dirt. A lot of dirt has to be done to get gold out of a lot of these mines. There's if you read the mining reports, they have their criteria what they consider profitable. Uh, Gunn says there was a guy with a Jeep put a swinging metal detector. What? A guy with a Jeep put a swinging metal detector on the front of his Jeep and just drove around the desert? That wasn't me, unfortunately. I don't know how effective that would be. Because if you can drive around there, somebody's probably already walked that ground pretty heavily. You know, I don't know that. How many loose screws, old rusted parts and stuff you're going to drive over. I guess it'd be fun with all the stuff you would find out of that. I don't know how effective that would be for finding gold. Maybe that's what they're maybe that's what they're using in Australia. Maybe that's what you're saying. Commercial revenue. Yeah, if you get on TV, I guess commercial revenue is where it's at on TV, just like YouTube, right? You're making the big money on the commercial revenue on your commercials, right? this video is sponsored by Folgers. It's what's in your cup. Not brought to you by Folgers. What is this? This is just store bought. Store bought generic. Is that's who I'm sponsored by. So, all right, we've been a little bit over a half hour. We got out what we wanted to get out. Looks like we've now went off the rails talking about gold exploration. So there was discussion a couple months back about the meteors out there that are gold, loaded with gold and metals and everything else, resources. All these meteors that are flying by, and about capturing a meteor and mining it for all the natural resources on it. And it's like, would that cause a collapse in price or an increase in price? And everybody trying to discuss about what that would mean for the cost of metals and other resources as they pull them off these meteorites. And it's like, that's a pretty pricey proposition to go to a meteorite, figure out how to mine it, and get the resources back to Earth. Everything from, you know, bringing the meteor to just a off orbit around Earth so that they can mine it from Earth, basically, or to ship it back and forth. Like, yeah, the costs are pretty high up there. I don't know that you could justify the price for that right now. So the price of gold would have to adjust incrementally up to justify mining meteorites right now, at least. At least that was the kind of the final conclusion there, is that mining meteorites isn't profitable right now with the current price. So the price is going to have to adjust upward greatly. There's going to have to be a civilization wide reason to mine a meteorite, like for whatever resource might be on there, whatever metal or other resources on there. It's going to have to be a pretty significant reason to go get it. Guns dad play. Guns' dad complains about Oak Island for years, never misses an episode. Isn't that the best shows? The one you like to complain about? Bug out full. Oh goodness. You make one typo and everybody hits you for it. Yeah, they're working on meteor mining, but really the cost just to get the fuel is astronomical. Like it's just not justifiable, I don't think, right now. Boneyard is doubtful. See what else is going on here. It's like, other than what's going on in the Red Sea, is about the only thing people talk about anymore, and Taylor Swift. You'd almost think it's not an election year. The the so-called Epstein client list has come out, will come out, and all that is like, it's like low level news. Like, it's all stuff everybody knew already, just nobody's willing to do anything about it. It's like, if people were going to be prosecuted, they would have been. And it's like, and nobody's getting prosecuted for that. It's a pretty sad state of affairs. Um, it's like people should be lining up a lot of the streets, and it's like crickets. You know, that's pretty sad. But the show election seems to be progressing fairly well. Um, People stuck in their two camps. But yeah, avoid the authoritarianism where you can. Hey, what's up, Mule? Good morning. Hope you're having a good hump day, Mule. Still waiting for Hillary's video. Did she make her own custom Martha Stewart type video or what? Yeah, Mule, I saw that. So that was a big, well, not a big thing, I guess, but you read the articles here, as soon as January 1st rolls around, all these new laws that these states have put in place, right? So they've just everywhere, but in particular Illinois, where Mule is, the new laws, and like basically everybody non-compliant, massive non-compliance to not go along with it, which is good. But in particular on the firearms front, but there's so many ridiculous laws everywhere that have been implemented this year for everywhere. So if you care, maybe read up on your local laws and see what's been implemented this year to know how you're a felon that you weren't last year. So you tack those multiple felonies on your account, just like the rest of us. Yeah, we're all felon. We're almost like a daily event now, right, Mule? Changing the terms and conditions. What did we sign up for, Dad? What terms and conditions are we speaking of? Oh, you're talking about the laws put in place, changing the terms and conditions? Yeah. Yeah, just when you think it can't get any worse, no matter what you're talking about, it usually gets worse. It's like, who even thinks this stuff up? Keep moving the goalposts, right? Keep moving the goalposts with no freedom. No freedom for you. Gunn says the suburban women aren't worried. I don't know. The suburban women seem to be pretty concerned about, you know, making sure their kids can self-identify as whatever they want. The parking lot at Lululemon is full. I don't even know what Lululemon. I thought Lululemon was only online, like a clothing brand. Is it a store? I didn't even know it was an actual physical structure. Yeah, the occurrences on the Twitter sphere daily prove that suburban white women are the biggest threat to humanity, and basically our whole freedom is suburban white women are the biggest threat to all of it. Practical Outdoors, how you doing? It has been a bit. I agree. Yes, it has, sir. It has been. I think we're all just busy doing the things, being occupied. It's like we said it all so many times that there's really no reason to beat a dead horse. You you are a suburban white woman, Alicia, but you're not a crazy one, Alicia. So there's a big difference. I guess there's a few good apples in the bunch. It can't just. I guess we can't totally um, group everybody together. There's always somebody out there. Get the prepper pass. Only when you get your hugel culture garden built, Alicia. Or no, wait. Was that what it was? You were doing hugelculture, or you're doing what was that you were digging in your backyard that time? Is that what it was called? I can't remember what those are called when you bury the logs like that. I remember that. I gave you a hard time about that video for a Walpini. Yeah, there you go. When are you gonna get that finished? I want to see those videos. Then you get your pass. Yeah, yeah. Look, I need to. That's something I need to look on too. Is greenhouse. Really look at greenhouse building. Farm. Growing some greens in the colder months, and I need to look at what do you call it? Um, not a bunker. A bunker would be nice, but I just lost my mind. Um, a root cellar. I need to look at a root cellar like Rob Painless has got. Rob did a good video on his a couple years ago. Um, but I need to get a good root cellar, dry cellar thing set up going just to have a cool place in the summer. Um, it's problematic around here when it gets hot. So it's just kind of hard to lay out. And if anybody saw Adventurous Guide to the Galaxy video yesterday, he totally doxed my position. So I got to go buy a whole new location and get set up again because he totally drew a whole schematic up and my whole layout and everything. So everybody knows where I live now. So check that out. Yeah. So yeah, last month I did that video talking about Luddite needing ideas for the impending technology overlords coming to take us over. Um, in particular, the AI, and he got started with a video just talking about drones, anti-drone, uh, electronic observation stuff. So he did a whole video. He's got a whole series saved on his channel for that. Check that out. Adventurous Guide to the Galaxy. If you might check in here too. But I put it on my. It's on my community feed. I shared it there, but it's kind of interesting. There's a lot more stuff out there than I don't know that I had seen in particular, but it's a lot of it's a lot of stuff out there, a lot of technology that can easily be used against you. That's hard to counteract. You have to get a head start on. But there's some cheap alternatives to on the counter drone warfare side. Um, it's just when you get mass swarms, what brought the mass drone swarms was really one of the concerns that I was thinking through. But hopefully, we never have to deal with that. But individual drones are a little easier to deal with. But the bringing 100 armed drones into your AO is problematic, to say the least. Gunn says Lulu has made some extra fiat depreciating cash, which the government will tax you on. Uh, how long until AI gets credit cards? Dad asks. Isn't AI the credit card itself? It's just digits on a computer. I don't even understand what that means, Dad. Like, how does that even work? It's all on a computer. Does it really matter? Isn't AI already charging your credit card daily? I'm not sure what to take of that. I mean, AI is already, you figure AI is already running stock market algorithms. So it's either making or destroying, the currency as we speak. Um, I'm not sure what else you're looking at, Dad, but it's definitely running up the debt, probably. Yeah, as I said in my one video, Boneyard, AI is probably definitely part of the beast system, if not the Antichrist itself, uh, as represented, because AI is like the culmination of all human arrogance in one package. Uh, everybody's dabbling in it. It seems like in the internet world, making all these AI created images and stuff out of fun and stuff, but the nefarious side of it hasn't even been delved into yet. Like it's just scratching the surface on how bad AI can go. We need never ending debt growth, says Dad. People can't maintain exponential debt, so maybe AI can. Hmm. I don't know. The banks are pretty good at never ending debt growth, Dad. I don't know. But people do die, so their debt then has to get canceled out, right? So um, that's a good point. I mean, as long as computers are running and servers are, exponentially being built to run AI, maybe that's the scheme. Uh, it's it's hard to say, Dad. That's a good AI could definitely keep charging that credit card, right? Keeping that debt going. When AI becomes self-aware, I think we'll figure it all out real quick that we're expendable. AI uses crypto, says Chipper. Hey, what's going on, Chipper? Yeah, and that's the thing. Once CBDCs get around, um, yeah, and that's here's a thought, Dad. We talk about CBDCs, being an ultimate method of control of what you can buy and purchase. But it's they can't limit it too much because they have to have that consumerism to build up the debt because they have to, again, it has to be exponential, right? Um, so you can't, I don't know. We'll see how that goes because the way debt usually works, it has to be exponential to continue to feed itself. But with the controls of CBDC, I guess it just redirects. Like it takes out consumerism and the centralized spending is what goes up. The CBDC will be used for the what do they call it? Where you get your monthly stipend for whatever your monthly payment. What do they call that? your living allowance that they're going to give everybody, like that'll go into that debt, and then everything else. But actually purchasing real things on the consumer side uh, will be another. PA 2060. Good morning. Um, Talking about credit scores. I saw something about credit scores. They're talking about how a lower credit score gets a better home loan than somebody that has a good credit score. So it's like upside down world. Like you get penalized for having a good credit score. Somebody with a low credit score gets the funding and gets a, I think what you're talking about here, a stipend and stuff to buy a home. 35% APR. That'd be insane. It's already insane. UBI. There you go. Universal Basic Income. I knew somebody had throw it out there. The Universal Basic Income, CBDCOB, very useful in that. Um, see if I missed what I missed here. Yeah, it just keeps everybody in line just enough, right? That's how do you, again, it's going to be that exchange of something for nothing. Like, who's going to make the food that somebody has to pay for with something they didn't earn? Like, that's going to be bizarre. It's this bizarro world, like how that's going to work out. And people are going to, exchange. Talk about just an upside. It's just not a true economy. It's just the economics behind that are just, they baffle the mind how just out of thin air is an exchange, a method of exchange that nobody had to earn, nobody had to work for. It just appears, and you're supposed to exchange that with for somebody that actually put some effort into it. And maybe that just gets into where the machines take over, so that people don't have to work for things anymore. That'll make your head spin a little bit thinking about how that's going to get implemented and put in place. Um, because so much of human existence is work, is doing some sort of exchanging your energy and labor for goods that you can't make on your own. The whole basis of the economy, right? And now we're just talking about UBI just for the basic, food and housing. And that's why they're going to make these, you know, 10,000, unit buildings like they have in China, where you just stuff as many people as you can into one building that are all uniform or all alike. You don't get anything special because you're only getting UBI to subsist at the subsistence level. There is no, just take away the whole human element of the whole thing of, of life. It's just going to be just terrible. You need some of that basic income guns. Yeah. You don't qualify. You're verboten guns. You have too much free think to get UBI. You got snow. Yeah, I was looking at it said there was snow pretty much everywhere, but out here in the west, the western side of the state. I was looking at that, but actually in Fallon too. Man, we got shafted hard. It says it's snowing in the mountains, but I don't see it. I don't even see clouds over the mountains. So I don't know what they're talking about. But of course it was dark. Maybe if I look out there now, at least somebody's getting snow. We're getting dry, shafted out here. Gunn says if it's universal, it's good on Mars when I ride Elon's rocket. Yeah, universal basic income, good throughout the universe, right? uh, yeah. Mortgage relief. Who got mortgage relief checks? There were. When did these go out? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think anybody got them. I didn't know that was a recent thing. I haven't heard of that. So yeah, snow's supposed to roll in here shortly. So Maybe Fallon can share a little bit. I didn't know you guys didn't know we were getting snow that close, but it looks like a. Do they have lake effect snow out there from? We'll see. We need some. We need some out here pretty bad, but it shows the whole eastern northern half of the state getting snow. So just our little western corner out here getting shafted. Doesn't even show a high chance of snow or rain. Not till Saturday. Saturday's the big chance. Today about 30%, Saturday 60%. So we'll see how that rolls out. Well, it's been an hour, folks. I think I'm going to wrap it up and get some actual work done. Unstack hay just to stack it up again, and maybe other nefarious verboten activities. So y'all stay frosty out there. Avoid the black swan talk to a certain degree. I would say don't worry about it too much. But see how you can avoid the ever encroaching authoritarian state would be my best advice for the year. Y'all know what to do. Prep hard, live free. See if I can get out of here and I'll close this out. All right.